Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our April 12th, 2023 Planning Board meeting. Would you all please rise and join me in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So, Steve, are you still capable from far, far away?
Not that far, but yes. Chairman John Curry.
Here.
Vicky Gannon.
Here.
Nancy Garbino.
Here.
Jack Mattis.
Here.
Bruce Prince.
Here.
Christopher Zaberto.
Here.
Thank you. Before we start, I just wanted to make an announcement. The item number 8, the Dynamite Properties, is not going to be heard tonight. So if anybody's here, didn't want you to have to stay till the end of the evening. And if you want to know the reason why, is because the sign was not posted for this. Okay, so if any of you are here, I mean, you're more than welcome to stay. If I were you, I'd go home, but but you're more than welcome to stay. First on our agenda are the draft minutes for the consideration from February 8th, 2023. I believe there's some changes made to them. Everybody happy with the changes?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, then I make a motion, we accept the minutes with the changes in them.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Second is the draft minutes from March 8th, 2023. Any discussion on those? No, I make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented from March 8th, 2023.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Sorry.
Aye.
Aye. So first on our project on our agenda is the extension request from Granite Point. Final subdivision approval, steep slopes, tree preservation, stormwater management, and erosion and sediment control permits. It's a re-grant, and it's also located on Route 138, 118 and 202. This is a request for the 23rd 90-day time extension for the Granite Point site. Any discussion? I guess probably a lot of you going by and see the work is going on as we speak there for the cleanup. Do you want to say anything, Tim, or does anybody have any questions?
No, true clearly is beyond.
Thank you. All right. We're okay granting this
Motion.
okay, and for the dates, it's from April 24th, 2023 up to and including July 23rd, 2023.
So I make a motion that we approve the extension.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is continuation of the public hearing for the Panny proposed 2-lot subdivision at 19 Olive Drive.
Evening, John
Evening.
Correll representing the Pennies on this 2-lot subdivision. You want a story? Since we were here last time, Steve gave us information about wells that they were concerned about on Peach Road, and had those wells survey located and did a design, or showed the 100-foot setback along with the keyhole for direct line of drainage. And none of the septic system, or this septic system, does not impact those wells, those down gradient wells. And I've discussed that with the health department. I'd gotten a comment letter from the health department, and it was 8 or 9 comments. Most of the comments were minor and nothing to do with the wells. I was hoping to get a letter from the health department to present tonight that indicates that they're ready to approve this upon approval by the town of 3 certain items. And like Steve knows what that is. But the gentleman was on vacation and out for Easter and COVID, so I couldn't get that letter yet. But this is all about the health department approval, and I'm confident we're going to get health department approval of this project. We also, at the suggestion of the, I guess the board, and some of the comments at the last meeting was we switched from rain gardens to infiltrators on the new lot. It recognized that sometimes rain gardens could be buggy and things, but so we presented a design for infiltrators, which I think meets the requirements of the town and Steve. And I looked at, I submitted a response to the Elmendorf letter, which was indicating that he felt that this project wasn't doable. And again, it's all about the health department. If the health department can't approve this, then the subdivision doesn't go through.
Okay, I would suggest, I know there's public here, the public comment period is still open, but let's hear from our town planner and from our consulting engineer, and then I'll open it up to the public and board member comments and public hearing.
I have no comments on this matter. Turn it over to Steve.
Okay, Steve?
Yep. We did have a few remaining comments. Most of our comments to date have been addressed. Our remaining comments, we're really just looking for a few more confirmation of a few design details on the stormwater system itself. And as is typical for a project that goes through a few revisions during the planning board review like this one has, we have information kind of in bits and pieces, revised pages and things like that here and there with various submittals. So we are looking for the applicant to kind of make a full resubmittal for the record and so that we can confirm that all the pieces in the documents are in the right order and everything is accounted for. Our stormwater comments mainly asking for some elevations of different points along the pipelines just to confirm constructability of what's being proposed. I'm sure the engineers reviewed that and it's just documentation on our part to make sure we're comfortable with what's being proposed. But the applicant has shown, as they will have to demonstrate to the health department, that the project meets the required setbacks from the stormwater systems and the septic systems to the wells, including the two wells across Peach Road below the site.
Okay, thank you. Board members, you want to comment now, or do you want to hear from the public first? Want to hear from the public? Is there anybody here from the public who would like to speak? Sure. Sure.
How do you do? Donald Elmendorf?
Just if you just go to the mic.
Microphone.
You,
Donald Elmendorf. Okay, my biggest concern is, yes, the wells are always. You are now? How's this? You good with this now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, on projects like this, proximity to a well is important. I think the major concerns here are the steep slope. And after the project's built, the stormwater runoff onto the lower properties down on Peach. And I don't see anything in this drawing or mitigation to reduce the velocity, future erosion, or accumulation of water on the lower properties. So stormwater should be kept on this property, mitigated, and then slowly released onto other properties. So yes, you've got your setbacks and academically clicks all the boxes, but it just, this design from my experience, it's just shoehorned in here. And that's going to cause problems in the future. I mean, yeah, like I said, academically on a flat piece of paper, it looks like it's buildable, but I think it's going to not be satisfying for the 4-bedroom house. And I doubt it's going to be satisfying for the people on Peach Lane in the long run. And I think stormwater runoff is a bigger risk than wells and contamination of wells. So that summarizes basically what I have. Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Before you step down, can you just validate for us why your opinion means anything? I missed that part.
What do you mean by why it means?
So who are you?
Oh, just
and
into the mic. Yeah.
Yeah, who are you and why do you speak like you have experience in this arena, missing that point?
Yeah, I've only been in the business 40 years, so I am new to it. I'm a licensed professional engineer, New York State. I've been in the business 40 years.
Got it.
So yes, I'm kind of new to this, but it's the best I can do.
Wasn't being facetious.
I know, but
I'm trying to understand why you, whether you're.
Oh,
I might have
and
missed that.
my professional experience is not only in Westchester County, but I've worked all over New York, New Jersey, Southern United States. So I have a lot of experience in land development, a lot of experience in environmental engineering, and a lot of experience in mitigation of erosion control and things like that, not only in this area.
How are you involved in this project?
The Signorellis,
You've retained him as
Yeah.
an engineer?
correct.
Thank you. That's what I want to clarify.
Okay. We good?
You're fine with me.
Thanks, sir.
Unless another board member has-
Anybody else have questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Yeah, sure.
Hi, folks. So I'm one of the people on Peach Road. I am
Just say who you are for the record,
Name and
please.
address.
sure, Dante Duran, 5 Peach Road. So I am directly at the downflow of where the proposed septic system would be. I don't know if you guys want to see anything that I brought here, but I've done, rough measurements. My well cap is approximately 149 feet from the proposed end of their septic system. I'm very concerned that adding another septic could potentially foul my well. Since we've been here, we have our well tested every couple of years. It's come back previously with coliform. I've often had to shock my well, and I don't know if it's because we're at the bottom of a hill. I don't know if anyone's ever been on Peach, but the grading is quite steep. Where they intend on putting their septic is at a high grade, and during rain, we do often get runoff from that hill. At the bottom of that hill is some storm basins, which then lead into the stream that's next to my house that runs, I believe, out to Beaver Creek. We're very concerned if there could be additional biohazards runoff and contaminate that stream. My son plays there all the time. He was actually playing there today. He loves to sit there and dig for worms, play with the bugs all over there. In the summertime, he goes out there and finds the little salamanders and the toads that call that little stream home. I've been there now 9 years. When I moved in, there was a very large problem with rainwater runoff. Subsequently, we've had to add drains at the bottom of our driveway to divert water as it comes down the hill. The catch basins don't always catch all the water runoff. There's been times in the winter where the water would continuously run down, find a route into cracks in my driveway, freeze. I mean, I've had a lot of work done in the area of my house because of rainwater runoff. I've had the town of Somers come out, build berms to try to divert the water. So the idea of removing a ton of trees, building a home, putting a septic system there that could potentially, saturate the ground, encourage more stormwater runoff is very concerning. So I don't know if you guys want to see any of this, if it means anything. It's just photos of the grade, where my well cap is, the general distance from where I am from the street, where my well cap is from the street, but stuff like that really is concerning. So I hope you take that into account. And I have not seen any of this. Now, I'm a professional builder. I work for the Smithsonian and we build all day. I would love a chance to see these. Are these published anywhere?
Well, you could go up in a planning office if
Yeah.
you want, and you could view them
Okay.
during the day. Yeah.
All right.
But it's public record.
All right, cool.
And we would like to see if you could make those into submissions, if you could give them to staff, then they could make copies, we could distribute them. Our engineer is remote right now,
Okay.
so he's not going to be able to look at them in real time right now. But if those, if that's your only copy, if you want to.
You're welcome to have them.
That would be great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
please,
can
if you
enter
could
them into
submit it.
this record and have it distributed to all of us.
Okay.
And the engineers and the other staff for review.
Should I title it with anything specific?
I
Just
would
your
put
name.
and
Okay.
where you live.
Just want
Okay.
pen?
I have.
You got it? Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I have questions, just a quick question for you. I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay.
Regarding the quality of water in your well, when you've had these incidents, and I speak of ignorance, I'm sorry, because I don't have a direct immediate well right at my, where I live, because I'm in a condo. Do you have to report them, or do you report them to anybody like the Department of Health? Is the Department of Health aware of the?
We've
history?
never done that. So typically it's after a huge deluge that we have our water tested. We try to do it once a year. We always do it in the springtime because that's when we spend the most time outside. You know, we spray our hoses, it's all over the plants. You know, we wash our cars, you know, we fill up our pool. So it's water that we use more than regular. We don't use our well water in our home for anything other than bathing and washing clothes. We don't cook with it. We don't drink from it because we don't want to take the chance that there might be a contamination. So we regularly test it. We'll shock the well to make sure that it's clean. And then we just go about our daily life. But because of the amount of runoff, because we're at the bottom of Lincolndale, all the houses that are above us, you know, Somers has been around for a lot of years and not everybody takes care of their septic systems. So it's a big concern for us.
I guess I'm trying to get at, is the Department of Health aware of?
We've never
the current
reported it. We
situation?
didn't think it was, I mean, what can they do? They're just going to tell us either dig a new well or continuously monitor, which we already do.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes,
For
ma'am.
the record, would you repeat your last name again?
Duran, Duran.
Oh, good. That's an easy one. I'm very impressed with your presentation. You do not drink your
No.
well water. I live on a well. I'm aware of the problems that come from being on a well.
Mhm.
There's several. And I'm assuming, based on my knowledge of the history of Lincolndale, you're not the only one that does not drink there.
No, my neighbors who just bought their house a year and a half ago, they have a 3-year-old daughter. They don't drink the water.
For the record, let that show.
Thank you very much. Any
Oh,
other
thank you.
questions for this gentleman?
All right,
Thank you.
appreciate your
If you leave that over at the table,
time.
if you would.
I'll put my name on it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Um, any board member comments, questions for Steve? Steve, I'm looking for a little guidance here.
Yep. The stormwater design, and I'll ask Mr. Carell to confirm, but I believe it's designed to infiltrate the 25-year storm. So that's actually, you know, reducing the flow off of this property from pre-development to lower than it is right now. Is that correct?
Yes, as you know, we're putting in infiltrators, and there's infiltrators on the property that was built several years ago. There's infiltrators picking up the stormwater off the extension and more the existing Olive Road. And this gentleman's house is across the street from, or as well as across the street, across Peach Road from 2 existing houses. Those houses, I'm sure, don't have infiltrators to the extent that we're proposing, and then that went on to lot number 1. So the stormwater plan has been completed in accordance with the state requirements for stormwater. And
I have a question
Yes.
of you. The size of the septic field reflects the number of bedrooms, as I recall, correct?
yes,
Okay. So if you had a 3-bedroom house instead of a 4-bedroom house, the septic field would not be as large as what you are doing currently. Is that correct?
that's correct. Yes,
So you really put a large house and a lot of bedrooms in a squeezy, tiny little place.
But
I
it-
don't understand that.
but it meets the standards of the health department.
Well,
Jack,
that's-
that-
Yeah,
Jack, can you correct, how many bedrooms are you proposing in the house?
4.
I think I went down to 3.
I
Oh,
think
you-
that's 3.
Well, it said 4.
I'm sorry, 3.
He's down to 3?
It's 3, yes, because
Well, then correct the record because you told us 4.
no, that was probably last time.
Anything on, is there any document that says 4?
When you read the,
Probably the original plans were submitted for 4
The
bedroom.
original plans were 4 and the application's been revised to be 3 bedrooms, and that's why I wanted to ask for that clarification.
Yeah,
Hence, there'll be a smaller septic system,
yes.
septic fields.
Yes, and that's why it fits in the standards. But while we're talking about it, my experience in this field, 15 years in the Westchester County Health Department in charge of the public water supply program, 14 years as director of the Putnam County Health Department, and 15 years as Carmel Town Engineer. Just saying.
And in your opinion, the infiltrators that are being installed on this, that you propose on this project, do you feel confident that that will mitigate stormwater up to the level of a 25-year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Steve and I went out a couple of weeks ago, walked the site, and we walked the site of the house that's already built there, and that has infiltrators, and there's no evidence of the infiltrators reaching an overflow capacity and causing a discharge down on the lower properties below.
Why?
So-
What does an infiltrator do?
Well, it takes the stormwater off the roof and off the driveway and puts it into the ground. It gets treated in the infiltrators and treated in the ground, just like a septic system treats sewage. And the soil is very sandy. It has a very high capacity of dealing with this stormwater. Both lots have very sandy soils. If it was clay soils, that would be a problem. And I'd like to, we've heard the comments from the board, from the residents, and like I said before, this project is going to turn on the health department approval. And we would appreciate if you close the public hearing, and in the next month or so, we will have something in the way of an approval or disapproval from the health department.
I think Steve was speaking, Steve was in, so let's bring it back to Steve, if that's okay.
Yep, thank you. I did want to clarify, I guess, two things in that. One is that the site walk that Jack's talking about was attended by me and the engineering technician from the town, Steve Wolfel. So when he says Steve and I, those are the three. There is evidence on lot 1 of some erosion and some runoff from that driveway prior to the completion of the construction of the Belgian block curb along that walkway, along the driveway, apologize. It doesn't show any sign of that being current. That looks like it was something, during construction, and we asked for that to be cleaned up. So if a neighbor happens to look across the property line and see some evidence of erosion, they would see some, but it does appear to be older and from the period of construction of that home. And there is still a silt fence in place along the boundary of lot 1, so it looks to be all contained within that lot. To the comments about well water and well water safety, there's a lot of things that impact water quality in a well. My home is on a well. We do also have it tested. It is not tested positive for coliform bacteria contamination. And it was unclear from the resident that spoke before, Mr. Duran, when you said the well was tested regularly and shocked, if that was due to an actual positive detection of bacteria in that well, or if that was out of an abundance of caution. And I guess difficult for me to hear from abroad, but maybe that can be clarified.
Can you come back up to clarify so our engineer can hear your response?
No, just.
Yeah, up at
He
the
can't
microphone,
hear you
please.
Unless you talk about Mike.
Thank you.
So to answer your question, that's affirmative. We have had several positive tests for coliforms to the point where we actually have a UV light filter on our home water system. So we have a whole house water filter that's 3 micron that is constantly clogged, because you can imagine most of Lincolndale is heavy clay. Inboard of that, we have a ionizer that removes all the sulfur. Then we have a water softener and a UV light filter, just because we're so concerned about the water quality.
Yeah, it's quite a treatment train. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And that kind of treatment says to me a couple things about the construction of the well. And obviously, we don't have a well drilling log for it. We don't know how deep the casing is. We don't know, what the well screen or gravel pack, if any, around that well construction looks like. And all of that can impact, the water quality that comes out of the well. And there are regulations around that. So it may all be satisfactory. I'm
I'm
not
sorry, let me
questioning
interrupt
it.
you for 1 second.
Please.
So
Yeah.
I recently had my well pump changed. They lined the casing and they flushed and cleaned the bottom of it and repacked it. So there is absolutely no reason outside of contaminated groundwater why my well should be testing positive for coliforms.
I'm glad to hear all of that. Certainly, those are appropriate measures to take. And grouting of that well borehole is obviously much more difficult to remediate after the fact, but that can sometimes cause these issues as well. There are, Lincolndale is a dense neighborhood. It is R10 zoning. In this area, there are several other septic systems serving the properties around Mr. Duran's home that don't meet the required separation distances for new septic construction, and that are within that 100 and 200 foot buffers. Those wells across the street from him on Peach Lake Road, potentially some of those. Those are all closer and existing systems than what is proposed on this lot, just for context for the board's consideration.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
I would agree to that. There's a lot of those systems that are on small lots and they don't meet today's standards for separation. One last thing I want to say, the well on lot 1 that was drilled, I don't know, 2 years ago, passed all the tests, coliform and all the physical and metal tests. The health department would not approve that without that. Thank you.
Board member comments?
I think we have another comment here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
May I ask a question?
Sure, just could you come up? Yep, thanks.
The director, John. So you designed for, the infiltrators are designed for 25 years.
You guys speak into the mic, sorry.
25-year flood is what the
Into the mic.
infiltrator-
Or take it, you can take it off too if you want.
It'll be better. All right, your infiltrators are designed for 25 years. Okay. We regularly now get 50, 100-year rainstorms. How are those runoffs from those size storms? And I think anybody in this room can agree, these bigger storms are hitting more and more and more often. So to base it on a 25-year, that's pretty much a light rain here. So I'm wondering why you didn't use bigger rainstorm events as your minimum baseline standard.
Steve, we don't usually get into the back and forth, but Steve, do you want to answer that? Is that
Yeah,
is that
I'll
the
let him have it
requirements?
after that.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Steve?
That's a legit question.
The size storm is based on town code. This is a single family residential development. It's small enough not to require any permitting from the state DEC. And so it is, but it does meet the disturbance requirements of more than 5,000 square feet, which requires a stormwater pollution prevention plan that meets the requirements of town code.
I just assumed that it wouldn't have gotten to the stage if it required more than a 25-year plan.
The applicant would have had that comment from us for sure.
Okay. Looking for some comments from the board here. Questions?
I may be proposing something that's not doable, but if the board approves this development, and if the residents in the area after this is built find that there is runoff and there is a problem, would you make a commitment to do additional filtration areas to prevent any further work?
I don't think I can make a commitment for the owner, but if there's a problem coming off that property, the town has the authority to require them to upgrade whatever needs to be upgraded. But the fact that the lot number one has not shown any significant discharge down gradient, and Steve brought up, I forgot about that when we went out there. Yeah, when they first were building the driveway on lot number one, the water was going just off the corner of the driveway. Now there's Belgian block curb and a catch basin that's picking up that water, and it's taking it into the infiltrators. And the new lot is going to pick up the water off the driveway and off the roof and put it into infiltrators.
Okay.
How does the board feel about closing the public hearing? Do you have another question?
Should we wait?
That's what I'm asking.
Well, should we wait until we know what the health department's going to approve?
Well, if the health department doesn't approve it, the project's dead, correct?
Correct.
And
It's kind of immaterial.
Is that the only thing we're waiting on?
Basically, is that correct, Steve?
So the town board has kind of two separate actions. One is to close the public hearing when the board so chooses.
No, but I'm saying we're just waiting or he's just waiting for Board of Health approval or disapproval.
And the planning
basically.
board's review.
And the planning boards, yeah.
We have a comment from.
Sure, yeah.
Will the Board of Health finalize their decision if our public hearing is still open and we haven't decided yet? Or not that we haven't decided,
They don't.
in a position to decide?
They don't know and they don't care.
So it's unrelated.
It's a mute point,
We can
yeah,
leave it open and they would still.
right. Or we could close it. Doesn't make any difference. I'm sorry, sir. Did you want to speak?
Yeah.
If you just come up.
Mr. Signorelli.
Carl Signorelli, 8 Peach Road, Lincolndale. My property is directly behind. On the plan here, where the well is, that's another one of my concerns. His well is going to be 20 feet off of my well, maybe 25 feet. What's going to guarantee me for 45 years living in my house that I'm going to have water after he drills that well? That to me, that is the most stupidest thing that the state or anybody has, that you can, there's things in life called ethics. Okay. My father was a builder. He would never drill a well directly by somebody else's well. He wouldn't. I mean, I
think we all agree with you, but it's
but
the law. What can I know?
It's the law. I thought the wall was 200 feet on an uphill side. Why is it 100?
I think we asked that at the very first presentation.
I understand that, but things have changed. I mean, how he's squeezing, it's like, I don't want to say what he's fitting 5 pounds, 10 pounds into a 5-pound bag, but that's basically what he's doing with this lot. It's so narrow. I mean, with my pole saw, I can touch probably his back deck when he builds the house. The lot is very narrow. And what he's talking about, no drainage and it's dry right now. Okay, why it's dry right now? These past 2 years have been so dry. We got fire warnings every day on our phone. The ground down 6 to 8 inches is dirt dust. Okay, so there's no water. Once all these trees are gone behind this house and we have a bad winter like we had 4 years ago when Dante, when you first moved in here, 8 years ago, the water was running off that mountain like you wouldn't believe. Okay, I think there's something fishy going on with the health department and him. And I'm gonna, if I have to, I will get a lawyer, because I think the way this lot is, it's too narrow to directly put behind my house like that. It's crazy. 45 years I'm in the town of Somers. I ran 3 businesses through Somers, and they're going to squeeze it for 45 years. Nobody can put a house there. I was told by another engineer they couldn't squeeze it in because of my well. I don't understand how they're going to fit this in there. I'm sorry that I'm getting emotional. I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's me. If anybody knows me all my life, that's the way I am. I've been around construction all my life. You can even ask Gus. I worked for his uncle. I loved him. Actually, his uncle spotted my well with a piece of willow branch off of Lake Lincolndale, Louis. Okay. I've been around construction all my life, and to see what these guys are doing to put this out. And I love Lewis. I knew Lewis since he's a kid, and I love his father, Bobby, and it's wrong. I'm sorry, guys. It's wrong. And if the town accepts this, I'm done with the town of Somers. I'm here 45 years and I loved it here. My kids graduated from Somers. I worked my ass off at Fordham University and sent them to college there as a painting contractor. I quit my business to go to work for Fordham so I can get my kids a good education. Okay, and it's common sense to look at this piece of property. And if anybody has common sense in the health department and comes out there and tells you, there was a guy from the health department doing the perk test hole, okay? He had a bottle there. He was a young guy. And I said to him, I said, what do you, he said, and I said, how's this lot doing? He says, it's failing miserably. Okay, this is what he told me from the health department. So that's in my head also. And I swear on my kids, that's what this kid told me from the health department. He had a little pickup truck on the back road before all the trees were being cut down and everything. When they had the test holes from the bulldozer, then they came in and did the perk test holes with the water bottles and everything else. It just, to me, just don't seem right. It's narrow. It's very, very, very narrow lot. And that's all I have to say. And again, I'm sorry, guys, if I got emotional. So like I said, I'm there 45 years and I think it's wrong. I really do.
Well, I think I'm just speaking for one of 7 on the board, but we feel, we know what you're saying, but we're not engineers. We have to go with our consulting engineer. And obviously the applicant has to go with the Westchester County Board of Health. Okay, do you understand where I'm coming from? No, nothing wrong with being emotional. I understand.
And
But-
since we have counsel here, just to confirm, we have to comply with the decision of the Westchester County Board of Health. If they say that this is buildable in terms of the wells.
I would, that's just a requirement that they have is to comply with the health department.
Right.
What they have to do is you have to decide whether, given everything, you're going to approve this, or is there something that has come up which mandates that you not approve it? So at this juncture, I think the question is, do you wait for the health department and keep it open? Or do you close the public hearing?
And wait for the health
Now, in
department.
my experience, you close the public hearing. But if there was some radical thing came up, there's no law that says you can't open it if there's a majority of the board. That's my understanding. You would want it open. So, Vicky, yes, you're waiting for because there doesn't seem to be anything left. That's what your experts
This
say.
last piece of.
That's
So
correct.
So that's
Yes,
it.
it hasn't
You
happened.
know, don't forget, this is not something where it's discretionary. Okay, I haven't seen anything in this application in which is discretionary, basically. You know, are they entitled to a subdivision? Do they need a 50-year runoff thing? No. Should they have it? That's beyond, otherwise you'd be here, on every application for like 10 years. So I would say it's up to you how you want to do it, because in the end, you're going to be, if the health department approves it, you're going to be where you are today.
Correct.
So
And if the health department doesn't approve it,
then they go home.
it's over. Right. So tell me what your feelings are, board,
You mean about keeping it? open?
about the public hearing. Yes.
I would propose to close the meeting with the caveat that should anything from the health department or any other revelations come up in writing, because correct me if I'm wrong, the public can always write. a
Always
letter,
right.
Even after.
We
it's
can always open it
closed.
back up.
We will revisit the possibility of reopening it again. If there is anything presented to the town that would require us to do that. That would be how I would present a motion.
Well, we also, when we close the public hearing, we do keep it open for receipt of written comments 10 days afterwards.
Correct.
That's a longstanding practice of the board. That I would want to have happen. Our engineer, I want him to see the materials that were submitted and to be able to look at them. I
For
think
Mr.
that's
Duran.
important. Yes,
Correct.
yes.
Yes,
Okay.
So-
And then
You'll have, excuse me, Steve,
Is it-
you'll have a chance to get copies of those?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
look at-
yes.
Within the next 10?
Yep.
Oh, thank you. And scan them.
So up,
Okay.
All right, so
your
I'll-
motion is
I
will,
will,
Rick.
since no one else, we debated it.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and keep it written for 10 days.
correct.
And then should we receive anything, we'll reopen the public hearing at our discretion.
I'd second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you. Just before we have our next applicant, I believe, is there some people in the back from Dynamite? You weren't here earlier, but you're not on the agenda tonight. On the advice of council, been removed because of the posting. You've had conversation with our town planner? And, okay, well, we can, and I sent the few people that were here home already. I mean, you're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but it won't be on tonight.
Even though I put the sign back up?
Yes. The public didn't know that at the time.
It's too little, too late.
Yeah. Don't shoot the messenger.
Post it for the required time.
Jerry, why don't you tell them where you live in case they're not happy with that decision, all right? Next on our agenda, North Edge Realty Corp. And GOJ CAJ preliminary subdivision application, proposed lot line change. Good evening.
Good evening. Tim Allen, with those associates. Tonight, Chuck Boniello and Jared Boniello, North Edge Realty.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Good evening, Tim Allen, Bibbo Associates, Jared Boniello, Gus Boniello, with me representing North Edge Realty. We're before you tonight for a lot line change, very simple. We are proposing to swap 4 acres on this piece of property. The property itself sits just south of Mayapack Avenue or west of Mayapack Avenue, and goes to County Line Road in the back. Essentially, this is a lot line change so that the Boniellos can buy 4.1 acres of land as part of this property. So what you see here is that the green line that exists now on this plan will go to the purple line. The existing house and well, septic and back will be on a code conforming 80,000 square foot lot, and the remainder of the property.
You want you closer, Tim?
Closer
You-
to the mic.
Sorry, and the remainder of the property will remain vacant. This is at the last meeting you had voted that this fall under the conditions of section 150-15 abbreviated subdivision.
Right. I think, did we open a public hearing at the list? No, so we have to open it tonight.
Yes.
Open the public hearing. Is everybody here to speak on this project? Board, okay, if we close the public hearing, make a motion to close the public hearing.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Chairman, just a note for that public hearing, the posting information,
Oh,
the legal
thank you.
notice. Yep,
Oh, minor
was-
detail.
is important.
yes.
The legal notice was published in the Summers Record on March 30th, 2023. The adjoining property owners are notified by mail on March 21st, 2023. And the sign stating the date and location of the public hearing is posted on the site on March 31st, 2023.
Thank you. Do you have any comments other than that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Well, I guess is the applicant done with your presentation?
I think, are you done, Tim?
Yes, I am, Steve.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't have any comments on this one. Thank you. I apologize for that.
Okay. Dave?
Mr. Chairman, so at the last meeting, the board directed staff to prepare a draft resolution, which has been provided to your board. As Mr. Allen indicated, this is a abbreviated process, given that it's just a lot line change. It's a type 2 action under seeker. So at this point, you do have a resolution that's before you that you could take action on with respect to this application.
Board okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you find anything, Vicky?
I was reading Dave's memo of his last correction to it. So yes.
Yeah, I caught it before.
Can't you just slip up one little one? It would kind of make her day, you know?
I know. Yeah. I'll slip one in next time.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, then I'll make a motion that we accept resolution number 2023-2. It's a grant of conditional preliminary and final subdivision approval for a lot line change to 45 Route 6, town tax number, section 419-2-1 and 2.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes,
Arsick.
Arsick.
This used to be Green Tree, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is Arsick Corporation Site Plan Approval for a parking lot expansion located at 378 Route 202. They want to install 12 new parking spaces to be utilized for overflow parking and an area to snowplow. The 1.06 property is located in the BHP district. Evening.
Good evening again, Tim Allen. With me tonight, Dr. Renani, Arsick Corp. You recall probably about a little over a year ago, maybe more, we came in for a lot line change for this property with the 1 Deansbridge Road, which is the neighbor. That was part of a land swap, which Dr. Renani got this strip of land. 1 Deansbridge is since sold, but that really has nothing to do with this application. Having said that, we had discussed at that point in time that Dr. Ryan would probably come back for some additional parking on the property. As you've seen through our submittals and some of the, I've got some photos here. Dr. Renani admittedly jumped the gun on this. He put in a item 4 pad in the areas shown here. What we did was we looked at it, and quite frankly, I would have probably come in with a pretty more aggressive parking plan. But I had a heart-to-heart with Dr. Renani. I said, you know, can you live with this? And he said, if the board would approve it, this is the extent of what I'd like to do. And basically, you can see by this plan that of that strip, it takes about a quarter of what the land that he had bought from 1 Deansbridge Road. And it accommodates 12 parking spaces. And what this does for Dr. Renani and his tenants and his clients, it allows during the winter time, he has a lot of problem with snow plowing. It allows an area to plow off the snow. It also allows for either employee parking or overflow parking. He's had parking problems in the past. This brings the total conformance with the parking. I'm receipt of Woodward and Curran comments. Steve, thank you. I did want to get this before the board as quickly as possible because I'd like you to go out and see it. And with hat in hand, Dr. Renani obviously wrote a letter of apology. I think in all my 30 years of doing this, I've never seen the applicant write a letter of sincere apology to a board. But it is what it is. And I'll just hand this down.
Sure.
That's what's there. Just to basically cut a hole in the wall and install the item 4 in a very basically level area. The grade hadn't changed much. This area was sort of 3-tiered. There was a lower section where Judge Damone lives in the back. It was kind of a flatter section in the middle where the parking is shown on the pictures, and then an upper area where it's all grassed and nice field area.
We met with the BHP committee. And we had a very positive meeting. There was a array of landscaping recommendations. I met with Dr. Renani's landscaper. Unfortunately, he was away the week we were submitting, so I've got all his recommendations, and that landscape plan will follow. It's pretty aggressive, and it's tweaked what the BHP committee had recommended, but we think it'll be to the board's satisfaction. That'll be coming soon. So what we would propose is that basically we try to get out there and take a look at it and see what's going on. And if we can move forward, that would be appreciated. It's a very minimal intrusion. Unfortunately, it was done without your permission.
Dave, you have some comments, please?
Yes, just so procedurally, in the code, as Tim mentioned, there is a requirement to meet with what's called the Business Historic Preservation District, BHP, technical committee, and the code specifically spells out who is on that committee. I provided you with a review memo dated March 31st, which includes a draft of the minutes from that meeting. And as Mr. Allen had indicated, there were a number of comments, most of which related to landscaping and the landscape treatment for this proposed use. So with that in mind, we wanted to make sure that you had the notes from the meeting, because that's part of the process. I think there was a request on Mr. Allen's part that to get the plans in, so that provides you with an opportunity to actually schedule, as you so desire, a field visit, so you have an opportunity to take a closer look at the property with Mr. Allen and with the applicant. So, and understanding that there are other technical comments relative to the engineering, which I'll let Steve speak to. But I think that Mr. Allen has provided a very, I think, a comprehensive overview of the process to date. And I just wanted to make sure that, you do have the meeting minutes from the BHP Technical Committee, which is a requirement under the code.
Thank you. Steve? Steve?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry. You can hear me all right?
Yes.
Good. Sorry, I think I had it muted.
Oh, you're watching a Met game?
Yes. No.
Well, they already won.
That was a play.
No, I was pulling up a copy of the site plan here on my screen, so I was clicking around for that.
Okay.
The applicant did submit some plans. We reviewed this as if it were not yet constructed. There's obviously some additional work to be done. The site, in addition to being in the Business Historic Preservation District, is also in the Groundwater Overlay Protection District. So that does add some additional requirements of the applicant to submit some information. So we've detailed that in our review memo. We had some questions around stormwater sizing and volume of soil that will in total be moved. Again, reviewing as if this work hasn't been conducted to make sure that when the work is finished, that it all complies with the town code.
Yeah, Steve, I'm sorry, Steve, the one thing I forgot to mention in my presentation, and you can see this in the field. Naturally, there's a depression in this area here. And at our BHP meeting, Steve Wolfel had recommended, and actually makes sense, is that area is a natural detention area. And it's very permeable soil. As we know, this corridor of Somers is famous for sand and gravels. So this water just runs into that hole and disappears. So we're basically going to utilize that as basically a stormwater receptacle in its natural state. That's what it does. That's the plan. If it needs to be polished before it goes into that ground, maybe we can look at that. But there are really no formal stormwater considerations because it's already there. We'll see that in the field.
Do you think you have moved or will move more than 50 cubic yards?
We're gonna calculate that. It's not a lot of work that was done.
Okay.
I mean, it was fairly flat through that area. If we have to perform a SWIP, it'll be based on the disturbance, it'll be mostly erosion control.
Yep, I would expect that to be the case. You know, when we, 50 cubic yards is, 4,000 square feet and just 3 or 4 inches. So it's, you get there quickly.
Yeah, we'll check that.
Okay.
We're light on the engineering right now because I wanted you to see it
Clearly.
and get a good feel of what's going on.
What's the board's feeling on for a site walk
Saturday?
this Saturday? Too short a notice?
Or should the applicants?
Or anybody can go.
submit, more of the technical supporting material before the site walk? Steve, what's your feeling about that?
I think it would be helpful to have the landscaping plan submitted for context, or at least available to
Okay.
the board at that site meeting. I will not be able to make this coming Saturday, but I can certainly walk the site and review it separately.
Can you have a landscaping plan for C? If not, we can always go the next week.
I'm not available Saturday either, so
Good.
Okay.
Shoot for 2 weeks,
yeah.
What's the date?
22nd.
April 22nd?
Yes.
9 AM?
We go
That works for
early.
me.
Anybody want earlier?
On Saturday?
Yeah. Okay, I think that's a no.
9 years early.
Yeah, I was thinking 10.
Vicky,
Okay.
I'll see you at
Is
8.
that put a lot, too much pressure? Can you have the landscaping and stuff by then?
You
Yeah,
guys.
plans, okay. Okay.
Seriously, if I could, be there earlier, like at 8, if someone else was gonna be there,
Sure.
because I have a obligation.
Yeah.
Fine.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Well, Vicky,
All
for
right.
you, then I can come early. So that you're not, that's fine. There's a consensus, I would prefer it to be there.
What's the date? I'm sorry.
22nd.
22nd,
It's 9 AM is the meeting.
but the pregame starts at 8.
Right. It's called tailgating.
Yeah, I will have I'll put together the landscape plan. I've got the markups of what we did. in the
Okay.
field on that, so we'll,
Yeah, seriously, if we have more data together, the two, that'll make a better walk as well. Thank you.
Okay,
okay.
thank you very much.
Thank
Any other board member comments? Since I have the mic, probably is something that shouldn't do, but I'm going to do it anyhow. I just wanted to let everybody know that Sunday after that, April 23rd, there's a free pancake breakfast at the high school put on by the Lions Club. Everyone is welcome to bring as many people as you want, 8 to 12
On Sunday.
on Sunday, the 23rd. It's a thank you for all the people of this town that over the years have supported us so much, and especially during COVID when we were able to sell out our raffle tickets for the car. So there you go.
That's all.
I know I'm not supposed to use this mic, but I did it. So done.
you.
Our next meeting is May 10th, 2023 at 7:30. Motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor?
Hi.
Thank you very much.
Nobody heard you.